Okay, that seems as good a time as any to begin. As usual, I need to get everything set up here. Right. Okay. So we're back. Rare 2 days in a row stream. I should advertise this actually. Let me tweet it out on the Twitter. There we go. So yeah. To talk about the big ol' Warner Brothers shaped elephant in the room. So I'm sure you've probably at this point heard that Rooster Teeth is shutting down. Now, I don't know what this means for Death Battle. I don't know what they're going to do from here. Where they're going to go. I know Season 11 is in... At the present moment, Season 11 is in the middle of production. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens from there. Obviously, it sucks that, like, a bunch of people just, like, all lost their jobs all at once. But, I mean, everyone who's worked on Death Battle is super talented. And I'm sure that one way or another, they're going to get back on their feet. And if this is the end of Death Battle as we know it, I feel like this little video series of mine will be a nice little tribute to them. Today we mourn indeed. But if this is the end, I would prefer to not mourn the death, but celebrate the life, so to speak. So let's get everything else back on here. Life battle. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure how long today's stream is gonna be because I have work tomorrow, although not until later. But it's also daylight savings, so clocks are gonna get yoinked in the middle of the night. But I at least want to finish season 3 because we only have 6 episodes left in season 3. So for now, let's go on to Tracer versus Scout. Also, if this loads. Also, you're gonna have to let me know how the volume is because I messed with it a lot for yesterday's stream. And spoiler alert, it turns out it was not done very well. Wire captions on. Stream was super quiet.
To be the elite, you must surround yourself with the best
That's
of the
probably
best.
too loud.
Whether you band together to save the world, or just a worthless plot of land.
And every good team needs a good hidden runner.
Like Tracer, the spunky
Yeah, so let me
agent
know
of
how it
Overwatch.
sounds.
And the Scout, the Boston-born merc of Team Fortress. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
Fairly balanced? Oh,
And
good.
it's our
All right.
job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Yeah, Overwatch and
30 years
TF2.
from the present, mankind would become careless. Their machine servants
Both
rose
of
up
these
to
games
fight for
are
freedom, and so
sort
began
of
a worldwide war.
But one organization
pillars
stood
of,
between
like,
world peace and total chaos.
dev incompetence
Overwatch,
to me
a team
in
consisting
different
of the world's
ways.
greatest scientists, cyborgs, ninjas, cowboys, and pilots.
Including Lena Oxton, codename Tracer.
But I do like the character
youngest
designs
pilot
of
ever
both.
inducted into Overwatch's flight program, Tracer is a free-spirited and fearless flying ace, always laughing in the face of danger.
After helping to secure world peace, no big deal, right? She was chosen to test a new prototype fighter jet, which could teleport.
But then everything went horribly wrong. Instead of teleporting from point A to B, the fighter jet accidentally transported her through time.
How do you accidentally create a time machine and put it in a fighter jet?
A word to the wise, this is why you use animals before moving to human trials, like I always do. Anyway, Tracer essentially existed as a ghost, uncontrollably phasing in and out of time.
It is nice to learn
It
about the
looked like
lore
Overwatch's
of both of
prized
these
pilot
series,
would be
since
decommissioned forever.
it's stuff that's
Until her
very
teammate,
much in the
good
background.
friend and gorilla scientist Winston made a special
Winston
techno-doohickey to
Winston
keep her locked in the
Overwatch.
present.
This
Mungie.
chronal accelerator doesn't just anchor Tracer's time displacement, it also gives her two different ways to manipulate her own time flow. In a near instant, she can zoom approximately 23 feet away. This blink ability is not true teleportation, but instead speeds up time only for Tracer while propelling her in any given direction.
What?
She can briefly jump herself forward in time, though from an outside view it looks like a blur.
Got it.
More than that, she can also reverse time for herself with the recall ability, which returns Tracer's health and spatial position back to where they were a few seconds before. While usually recall only turns back 3 seconds, in some instances she's gone as far back as 15.
Well, thank God her weapons aren't as confusing as that shit. She carries dual
And, like,
rapid-fire
I think
pulse
everyone likes
pistols as her
Tracer.
primary pain dispensers.
Like, regardless
Each
of your
can
thoughts on
empty 20
Overwatch,
rounds in a
Tracer's
single
fun.
second.
But what the pulse pistols have in power, they sorely lack in range and accuracy.
Good thing she also has her pulse bombs. I'll put it this way: pretty much anybody she sticks this thing to has exactly 2 seconds
who doesn't
to make
love
their
time
peak
travel?
before going to the big capture point in the sky.
Tracer maximizes her unique weaponry with hit-and-run tactics, frustrating her enemies and making her very difficult to pin down.
Yeah, in addition to blinking and recalling all over the place, she can jump 15 feet in the air.
She's disarmed the highly trained and literally cold-blooded assassin Widowmaker, protected the Doomfist Gauntlet from theft, and even once avoided a sniper shot from just 30 feet away. A sniper round usually travels almost 1,800 miles per hour when fired, meaning Tracer had to react within 1/100th of a second.
Unfortunately, that bullet found another target. Rest in peace, Robot Gandhi.
Although Tracer is a slippery opponent on the battlefield, her chronal accelerator has its limits.
Now, the
If
one
used too
thing
many
about
times
this
in
episode
succession,
is
it
that
can overheat, forcing Tracer to wait for a recharge. As
this
her pistols
was
are linked to the
released
accelerator,
only
this can
about,
sometimes
like,
cause them to overload as well.
4
She's a
months
pilot
after
first, and
Overwatch's
not
release,
exactly a
I
crack
think.
shot while on foot. If she
So
doesn't
they
get
didn't
in
have
close,
too
she's
much
not
to
hitting
go off
anything
of
but air.
on the
In spite
Overwatch
of
front.
that, Tracer doesn't let any of it get her down. Wherever there's danger, she'll be there in a blink of an eye with a cocky smile and a barrage of bullets.
Wait, whatever happened to that time-warping fighter jet?
I don't know.
Don't worry, loves. Cavalry's here.
Thank you, Tracer Overwatch.
In the year 1850, an extremely wealthy entrepreneur passed away, leaving his family land and business to his 2 sons. But like brothers are prone to do, they ended up fighting over each other's land right off the bat.
This went on for decades, and then the brothers began recruiting mercenaries to literally wage war. And that's when things really got out of control.
Each hired gun contributed with their own specialized expertise.
The sniper killed from afar, the engineer slaughtered with machines, and the heavy mowed people down with the biggest goddamn gun they'd
It's
ever
also the
seen.
only episode
What
they've done
kind of
so far that
sandwiches
covers
were they feeding that
TF2.
guy?
But one
Which is
every
a bit
man
of a
only
shame,
relied
'cause
on his cunning, his
I like
2 feet, and a
TF2.
baseball bat. This
Everyone
was the
loves
Scout.
TF2 and the
Born in
characters.
Boston, Massachusetts
Unless
in
you're
the
Valve,
1950s, the mercenary
who has not
only known
updated this
as
game in a
Scout
while.
was the runt among 7 older brothers.
Yeah, literally
And all
red
of them
versus
loved to
blue.
wander the town looking for a good fight. Problem was, Scout's brothers were so big and tough, the fights would be over before he could get the chance to throw his own punches.
Desperate to fight alongside his siblings, Scout realized that what he lacked in strength, he could make up for in speed.
So he started running, and running, and running until one day he was fast enough to not only keep up, but get ahead.
Speed was his moniker, delivering pain was his game, and somewhere along the way he even learned how to jump off of thin air. Suddenly, the pathetic runt of the pack became the smart-mouth terror of Boston.
Grass grows, birds fly, sun shines, and brother,
I hurt people.
The only thing he was lacking was discipline, which he could get in the military, but that didn't sound like any fun, so he became a mercenary instead. Scout travels light, relying on a lovely shotgun and a baseball bat. Yes, a baseball bat. This guy is crazy enough to try and take out a rocket launcher wielding soldier with a pop fly.
Which surprisingly works.
Look at him
Opponents
go.
are stunned by the size of his balls, both literally and figuratively, leaving
Okay.
them open for Scout to
Cool,
race up
thank
and
you,
finish
Death
them off
Battle.
with his guns.
Well, he's got a pistol for pinpoint accuracy. Scout's favorite tools for killing are definitely shotguns. The scatter gun is a confusing miracle of shotgun engineering that can somehow hold 6 shots in a double barrel and is reloaded via divine intervention when you pull its lever. It's like the baby of a shotgun rifle and a revolver. But his most powerful gun is the force of nature. A shotgun that only has 2 shots, but kicks so hard it can boost him even higher into the air.
Regardless, a well-placed shot can quickly take down almost any other
I
mercenary.
mean,
To
kinda.
make the force of nature even
Tracer
more
is one of
ridiculous,
the,
he can strap a can of
I'd say,
energy drink
less
called Bonk Atomic
superhuman
Punch to it, which
Overwatch
somehow gives him
characters.
5 more mid-air jumps.
She just has
That's
a lot
right.
of cool
This
tech.
guy flies with shotguns. But that's not all the soda has to offer. With just a sip of Bonk, Scout becomes totally invincible for 8 seconds.
Yeah, but look at this cool
But
soda
can't
he
use
has.
Any of his guns at that time.
Probably due to the shakes. Bonk contains several hundred times the daily recommended sugar intake. An adult male's suggested daily dosage is 25 grams, meaning Bonk
He does have
contains,
funny
at
guy advantage,
minimum,
that's true.
11 pounds of sugar.
Oh my god.
So much sugar he can't take another drink for at least 20 seconds. And on top of that, it's radioactive.
You gotta have one tough body to handle that stuff. Tough enough to survive the onslaught of 3 rockets at once, or to swing a baseball bat hard enough to send a guy flying 80 feet away.
Possibly due to long-term Bonk exposure, but testing is still out.
Scout can defeat foes as strong as the heavy in close quarters combat, run 17 miles an hour for long periods of time, and even kill a bear with nothing but a hot dog suit and Amelia Earhart skeleton. I'm serious.
He has a knack for avoiding bullets, missiles, and even tentacles from a bread monster, but at the cost of wearing little to no armor, making him a glass cannon. And true to his reckless, unrestrained personality, Scout often runs headfirst into battle, regardless of the risk.
But if you want to take down the Scout, you're gonna have to catch him before he catches you. And that means you too, ladies.
That's right, Fancy Pants, myself. So why don't you take your little failure, roll it up sideways, and okay, crap, I gotta go. Screw you though.
Alright, the combatants are set.
TF2.
Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first, I'm feeling pretty
This was
hungry.
like
If only there was
a
some sort
real
of
debate at the
amazing
time, which was
service
better,
that sent a
Overwatch or
box full of food
TF2.
recipes straight to my door. Oh hey!
You know.
Oh boy, an ad. A Blue Apron ad. Get used to those.
Now,
There's
it's
gonna be a lot more. Anyway, fight time.
All right, asshole, you're toast. Whoa.
Hey there, hot
I
stuff.
mean, you are correct on that front. In different ways.
If I told you you had a great bod, would you hold it against me?
That's nice. I was just leaving.
Oh, sure thing. Come back anytime. Just put that briefcase back before you go. Thanks.
Sorry, love. Overwatch needs a bit more
The
than
question is, whose accent is more powerful?
Yo, Foot, how you doing that?
bombs away.
Oh, that's just great. Supposedly, this stuff will liquefy your esophagus after just one can, but, you know, it's also very handy when you feel like not getting blown up.
That's not very fair.
Listen, sweetheart. I never play fair.
Look at him fucking go. Look at the strut.
Is that all? Ah, bollocks!
That at the plate. Kids out of the park. All right, doll. Fun's over.
Not yet, mate. The cavalry's here.
She said the tracer thing. Just like all she had when this episode came out.
Shit.
That's not how ult charging in Overwatch works.
Not this time, Yankee!
Oh, come on. Give me a...
Well, that was fun.
I can't believe Germa's fucking
And
dead.
he's out.
Scout was fast and
The
tough,
dove flying out of
Tracer's
his
unique arsenal and
corpse was a
evasiveness
nice
pulled her
touch,
ahead.
because that's like a
Scout's greatest feat
TF2
was
thing.
potentially surviving an assault from 3 rockets at once. However, the rocket's point of impact is never directly shown, and since direct hits from rockets regularly obliterate far tougher mercs, it's unreasonable to assume this was any different.
Scout could sprint up to 17 miles an hour for an extended period of time.
Also, their
which is slightly
conclusion
faster than the average human's
isn't that
15
great.
miles per hour. But Tracer's natural reactive instinct gave her the edge. For example, avoiding that sniper round from 30 feet away means she can
Who's a
react
better character in
25
respective
times
games. I
faster
believe
than the
Scout,
vast majority of
but
other
that's
human
mainly because
beings.
TF2
Which means
has
Tracer could avoid
less
almost
characters
anything
and
Scout
is
threw at her. Even
overall
when she
better
couldn't, her
balanced
recallability not
than
only helped her
Overwatch
survive, but
in terms of
effectively ruined any of
character
Scout's elements of
equivalency.
surprise.
This allowed Tracer plenty of opportunities to take him out.
Then again,
And just like
Overwatch
that,
has a
Scout was gone
constantly changing
without a
meta that
trace.
I have not
The
kept up
winner
with in
is Tracer.
like over
Next
6
time
years,
on Death
I
Battle.
think, at this point. Oh yeah,
Hey guys,
Ken.
thanks for watching another
The-
episode of
the
Death Battle.
Street
I'm Ben,
Fighter
the showrunner,
guy.
and I play Wiz.
So that episode was alright. But hey, here's Ken Masters versus
Hey,
Terry
Wiz, what has
Bogard.
blonde hair, wears red, and fights like hell?
Today's fighters?
Oh, you guessed it. Ken Masters, the street fighting family man.
And Terry Bogard, the orphan turned king of fighters.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons,
we love
armor,
Terry
and skills
Bogard.
to find out who would win a death battle. As the son of a rich hotel
yes,
tycoon,
there
young
was.
Ken Masters
Well, there was
wanted for
the
nothing.
Capcom versus
Rich
SNK
kids, why don't
games,
their parents ever teach 'em any real
and the
value?
SNK
Like
versus
squirrel
Capcom
cooking or how to throw a
games.
punch.
Well,
which are
turns out
different.
Ken's an exception, eager to teach his son some
So they
discipline.
have been
His
in
father
crossover
sent
games
him to
together.
Japan to train in martial arts.
Yeah, turns out
I don't know if
Ken's
they,
dad
like,
was buddies with
quote-unquote,
the master
fought
karate hermit
canonically,
Goken, who Ken trained under for a decade, alongside a
it
young
still
warrior
counts.
named Ryu.
Under Goken's eye, Ken was taught the ways of the Ansatsuken, or Assassination Fist, albeit Goken's own non-lethal variant.
He learned techniques like the blast of ki energy known as the Hadoken, and also the Tatsumaki Seppukaku.
Tatsumaki Sempukyaku, also known as the Hurricane Kick, a spinning kick that leaves opponents reeling, but is also pretty good for getting past projectiles.
But the move he excels at the most
And of course
is the
now they
Dragon
can fight and
Fist, the
smash, so.
Shoryuken. It's a devastating rising uppercut, and Ken's so damn good at it he can set his whole damn fist on fire.
At his best, he can perform the Shinryuken, or Divine Dragon Fist. Not only is this attack engulfed in
Yeah,
flame,
a lot
it
of
also
Japanese
creates a
attack
vacuum
names
effect,
make a lot more
drawing opponents
sense
in for multiple
once you
strikes.
learn that
The Shinryuken
Ken
is the most powerful
means
natural form of
fist
the
in
Shoryuken
Japanese.
technique.
Well, so long as you're not possessed by evil murder energy, but you should watch Ryu vs. Scorpion to learn all about that.
Hey, plug.
With his training complete, Ken returned to America, proving his new discipline
Plug.
and kickassery by winning several fighting tournaments.
Including the premier U.S. martial arts tournament, where he won the finals and met his future wife, Eliza.
Ho ho ho! That is certainly what I would call a win.
Proud of his victories, Ken returned to Goken's dojo to tell his former master the good news.
Junk.
But he got there a little too
Jank
late.
Fist. Because
Dang, missed out on
John
all the finger
Ken.
painting.
After meeting
I
up
believe
with
it
Ryu to
means-
mourn their master's
it
apparent
means, like,
death,
rock
Ken
fist
decided
or
to enter the
something.
prestigious World Warrior tournaments, just for the chance to fight Ryu again.
what does that?
But Ken's always fighting,
Google
both
that.
in and out of tournaments. He takes on anything from crime lords to professional assassins, and he's strong enough to send a man flying 15 feet in the air with a single punch.
The force of which would definitely kill an average person, which Ken is anything but. He's strong enough to beat the dictator Bison with Ryu, and he's fast enough to dodge attacks from Akuma, one of the most powerful characters in the Street Fighter
Oh,
universe.
it
Then
means
there was his cage match
beginning
against
with
the
stone.
claw-wielding Vega, where he punched him
'Cause
so
you
hard he
do
completely
rock,
reversed the
paper,
guy's
scissors.
momentum after he leaped from the ceiling.
Doing so after losing tons of blood from dozens of lacerations, and with both of his feet broken and impaled. Considering much of a punch's force comes from the lower half of a person's body, this is practically
Also, look at how
unbelievable.
good Ken can
Talk
punch.
about endurance. I can see how he got his way.
Yeah,
The
first
guy's
comes
tough enough to
rock,
fall
John,
over 100
Ken,
feet
Pong.
into the mud and then just get up more pissed than anything else.
But when it comes down to it, Ken's strongest asset is his conviction to win, only made stronger when it comes to defending his friends.
Though he is pretty cocky, if he's feeling good
Look at this.
about a fight,
Look at that
he'll
old
just
art
lam
of
him instead of
Ken.
finishing him off, leaving himself wide open.
Still, if you enter the ring with Ken Masters, chances are you're gonna get burned.
Come on, let's turn up the
Street Fighter V Banana Hair Ken.
Harry Bogard was born with nothing to his name. Hell, he didn't even have a last name.
Stranded with his brother Andy, Terry grew up an orphan on the dangerous streets of Southtown.
Until they were adopted by Jeff Bogard, who immediately introduced them to a regimen of bonding
He has
and
a pet
kicking
monkey?
ass. Now that's a good dad. Well, until he got murdered.
When he
Man,
was only 10
SNK
years
lore
old,
is
Terry
weird.
and Andy watched helplessly as their foster father was murdered before their eyes by Geese Howard, a notorious crime lord. Swearing vengeance, the brothers spent the next decade training to one day take down Geese.
What did waterfowl ever do to him?
No, not birds, Geese Howard, the bad guy.
Look, Wiz, I know you're not a poultry scientist degree holder like myself, but you should know that the singular term for geese is goose. It's just common sense.
Let's just move on. As the years went by, Terry became an
Callback?
exceptional
Yeah.
martial artist,
They have
mastering
continuous
boxing,
lore.
karate, kung fu, and kickboxing. He developed an impressive list of techniques, like the burn knuckle, a fierce
Also,
punch
the
surrounded by
Geese
enemies.
Howard, his
And the
name
crack
was
shoot, a jumping axe kick.
probably
Or he
supposed to
just
be
punch the ground so
Keith,
freaking hard, he makes a
but
power wave,
romanization
where he
is
sends a
hard.
deadly wave of energy through the earth towards whatever poor bastard he's fighting.
But even after learning all of these, Terry knew he would need more to defeat Geese.
Goose.
No. So he sought out his foster father's old master, who taught him the secret technique of the Hakyoku Seiken, the art of the 8 extremities holy fist.
Holy fist, huh? Is that like punching the Jesus into people or something?
No, but he is punching with the power of Earth.
Fire, wind, water, heart, go, Terry! Okay, sorry, couldn't help myself.
Anyway, with Hakyoku Seiken, Terry can literally pull and channel energy
And
from
I
the
think
earth
that's the
beneath his
first
feet.
time they brought up
And with the Earth's
Captain
chi,
Planet.
He can enhance his attacks to extreme levels.
Terry went through
Like
his
turning
fit
his
alone.
ordinary power wave
Yeah,
into the monstrously
probably. I mean,
Titanic power
I don't know. I
geyser.
like
Apart
Ken's.
from that, his Buster Wolf punch puts his burn
Ken
knuckle to
Street
shame,
Fighter
and
6
with the
Ken
star
actually
dunk
does kind of
volcano,
look
he
like
slams his foes down in a
like
fiery
Garo Terry.
explosion.
So when Terry was ready to take Geese
They both have
down,
big
he figured
jacket.
what better way than in the worldwide tourney
He doesn't
Geese
have the
himself
hat,
was
though. That
hosting,
is true.
The King of Fighters tournament.
And in the end, he most certainly got his revenge in a battle which was apparently so intense, its spectators compared it to a fight between starving wolves, earning Terry the nickname, the legendary Hungry Wolf.
That's a badass nickname. Although it turns out Terry didn't kill Geese hard enough, so he got to do it a second time.
Not that Terry was too weak or anything. For example, in his fight with Jamin, he took a huge explosion in the back, got a car thrown at him, jumped up an elevator shaft as it was
Killed
blowing
Geese
up,
Howard.
got
Killed
blasted
Geese
in the
Howard
face with a wall of fire,
again.
which smashed him into a concrete wall, and answered by power geysering so hard he wrecked the factory he was standing on.
He
That's so
bled
cool.
everywhere. But then this chick made him better with a good old strip and cuddle. Oh, and that guy jamming, he's fast enough to catch bullets.
And strong enough to shoot them back. With his fingers.
Not good enough for you? Well, how about the time Terry saved a coworker from 6 falling I-beams by smashing them one by one in midair?
Keep in mind, a single I-beam is designed to support over 3,000 pounds of pressure.
And he took care of it so fast the would-be victim didn't even notice.
Damn.
It's a bit of a shame then that at his worst, Terry's a pretty sore loser. Even though his willpower is enough to match the power of Mars, the god of war, an unexpected failure can still really shake him up.
But when Terry Bogard sets his mind to something, he'd rather bleed out than walk away.
Man, Terry's cool.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
He's obviously trying
But first,
to
Will's
be
got
cool,
something to tell you about saving time and
but he is also just cool.
Characters-
Anyway, ad, I don't care. Blue Apron, yada yada.
Flash battles with
It's
Poor Dan.
Challenge me after some practice. Come on, show me what you're made of.
Here I go!
It helps that these sprites just kind of naturally match up well.
See ya!
He burned Terry's pee-pee.
Take this seriously.
This over? Hatsumaki Kai Kick!
The effects might be a bit much. Also, rest in peace, Dan, again. It is... He does look like Red from Pokemon. Man, Ken's really winded. Gee, I wonder who took more damage from that. Oh, it's Ken. He got some cuts. Oh, and there goes his head.
bummer. So, on the bright side, this means Eliza's single now, right? Boomstick. Just saying what we're all thinking, Wiz.
Both Ken and Terry had been fighting since they were children, and each won their fair share of tournaments. However, Terry's sheer power proved too much for Ken to handle.
Outside of tourneys, Ken's most notable victories were usually
Crack
only
shoot.
possible because he had help. Sure,
I mean,
Ken's
that
taken
was
down
the
Zangief,
power
Hugo, and
dunk.
Vega multiple
Yeah,
times,
the
who are
combo,
extremely deadly in their
kind
own right,
of.
But they aren't nearly as heavy hitters as those on Terry's resume, like Krauser and Mars.
Also, keeping up with and surpassing Jamin, who can effortlessly catch bullets, proves Terry can match someone over twice the speed of sound. Much faster than anything Ken's ever shown.
Man, when Eliza hears about this, she's gonna feel terrible.
The winner is Terry Bogard.
All right.
Next time on
Chalk
Death
one up
Battle.
for Latin America.
Bet you're surprised to see me.
Hey guys, I'm Chad. Boomstick.
It's
I'm back with Wiz, and
Amy versus Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim, which is
As the old saying goes,
not
behind
what I
every
think
great
people
man
expected,
is a
but it's
badass woman
cool.
with a big hammer, something like that.
And today's combatants are exactly that. What could go wrong?
Amy Rose, Sonic the Hedgehog's #1 fangirl.
And Ramona Flowers, the girl of Scott Pilgrim's dreams.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor,
Yeah.
and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
But I mean, they do go over like the comics
When
and
young
stuff,
Amy Rose
which do
first
get
heard of the adventures of
kinda
Sonic
nutty.
the Hedgehog,
Oh, yeah.
she became immediately obsessed.
I mean, that's like
But while most
I'd
raving
argue
fangirls
that that's
would
what
stalk him
people
online
know
or build a shrine in
Scott
their
Pilgrim
closet,
for the
Amy
most,
dialed
is
her
the sprites
crazy
from the
up to
Scott
11.
Pilgrim game.
I guess you could say she was hooked on Sonics? Huh?
Threw up in my mouth a little bit. That was so bad.
Well, determined to meet her hero face to face, Amy decided that the best option was to learn how to read tarot cards. Of course.
Hey, the lady at the fair never let me down.
After lots of practice, one
Yeah,
reading finally
thinking about
predicted
this is
she would
like
meet the blue
this is
blur
like
on
the
mysterious
culmination
Little
of like
Planet.
internet sprite
And she
animations.
did beat him. Well, after
You
she
have
was kidnapped by the evil Dr. Eggman and
Sonic
used his
sprite
Bangalore Sonic
animation
into a
and
trap,
Scott
but
Pilgrim
hey,
sprite
first
animation.
impressions aren't everything, right?
God knows that's true, or we certainly wouldn't be working together.
What? So I forgot my pants on my first day. It happens to us all.
No, it doesn't. Anyway, meeting
Am I gonna
Sonic
get
wasn't
banned
enough
on?
for Amy.
Am I?
Despite her
Is
young
this
age
is
and
this VOD gonna get
inexperience, she
flagged
made it
for
her
those like
personal
few
mission to
seconds of
become
that
a
guy
part
being
of his
butt ass
freedom
naked?
fighting crew.
So Amy spent some time building a badass skill set to convince her hasty hedgehog hero she'd
How'd they
be a
get that
valuable
past
team
YouTube?
member. And a girlfriend.
It actually wouldn't take long. By running after Sonic, her sheer will and determination let her reach the super speed she needed to chase him down.
That's terrifying.
Keep in mind, Sonic's casual speed sits at about 765 miles per hour.
That's extra terrifying.
Tell me about it. Apparently, she tapped into her innate hedgehog speed gene. Which is
Sonic
fake.
Chronicles
Where the hell
scaling.
they got
Sonic
this, I have
Chronicles
no clue.
mentioned.
I mean, have
Woo!
you seen real hedgehogs run? They're not all that fast.
Apart from being quick on her feet, Amy can target specific enemies with the homing attack, charge up speed with the spin dash, and even turn herself invisible.
Right, by concentrating her energy, Amy can somehow cloak her entire body from view.
She's obsessive, fast, and can turn herself invisible. It's like the Sonic gods made the ultimate stalker.
Well, she still hasn't learned how to hide her shadow.
That might be even scarier. But what really gives Amy an edge is her signature weapon, the Pico Pico Hammer. God, that's a dumb name.
It's actually based on the Japanese children's toy of the same name.
Yeah,
I've
well, this
not
weapon
read
would be
Scott
totally
Pilgrim
stupid
personally. It
if it
seems like
didn't
one of
create
those things I would
tornadoes.
really enjoy.
That's right, it can create a pink vortex
Yeah, and
to
now
throw
now
at
that I have
enemies.
media
She can also
literacy,
use the
I
Pico
feel like I
Pico
would be
hammer
able
double
to
jump or spin through the air like a
appreciate it.
helicopter. And if she loses it, she can somehow magically summon a new one out of thin air.
Really think you're moving on too fast from the whole tornado thing, Wiz. Tornadoes! From the hammer! Hamnado!
After all was said and done, Amy became good enough to join Sonic's squad, becoming a valuable
I like them
member of
blurring
the
out the
team.
Cartoon
She's
Network
strong
logo in the
enough to
corner.
match the power of a 25-foot-tall metal machine. She dazed the Iron King, a guy who can tank laser fire from an army, and once threw her hammer hundreds of feet
Expecting
into the
something
air
to be
knock
like
Dr.
Homestuck is
Eggman's
always
ship out of
setting
flight.
yourself up for
She survived a
disappointment.
one-on-one match
Nothing
against
can be
Knuckles
like
where she was
Homestuck.
crushed by a boulder over twice her size.
And even more impressively, she once wiped out half of an entire robotic invading force all on her own.
She may be powerful, but she still has some growing up to do.
Amy is a tween girl. She's pretty immature sometimes, rushing into action without thinking.
Like when she was mind controlled by Justin Bieber.
Justin Beaver. Really?
Yep, he's a beaver who mind controls girls through the power of repetitive and uninspired music.
Ugh, Jesus.
But the most important thing to take away from
It's
all
also
of this
weird
is
seeing
that
them
once
use
Amy
Sonic
Rose sets her
Boom
mind to
and
something,
like
she
Archie
will get
Sonic
it done,
stuff
no matter what.
for Amy.
Keep your rotten robots away from my Sonic or you're gonna be sorry!
When Ramona Flowers first saw Scott Pilgrim, she was immediately unimpressed.
She just wanted to do her own thing, delivering packages for Amazon Canada. But Scott couldn't get her out of his mind.
Literally in his mind, which is weird.
It's not weird at all. No, it's just you have this really convenient subspace highway running through your head that I like to use. It's like 3 miles in 15 seconds.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, Scott somehow managed to
I
charm her
think
into
not.
giving him a chance. But there was just one little, somewhat dangerous catch to it all.
Hair
You
colors:
see,
pink,
if Scott
blue,
wanted
green,
to land his
orange.
pilgrims at Vagina Rock, he had to battle and defeat Ramona's 7 evil exes. God, screw that. That's way too much work. I don't care how hot she is. Find a new one.
Luckily for Scott, he did not have to fight them all alone, as Ramona isn't your typical damsel in distress.
Yeah, she's a badass. She's strong, tough, and damn good on a pair of rollerblades.
She's also proficient in numerous types of
Oh yeah,
weapons,
this also
from
means they
mallets to
use
swords,
music from
and
the Scott
carries
Pilgrim
multiple on
game
her person
in the
at all
episode.
times, such as her titanium baseball bat.
And her giant
Oh,
hammer.
no,
It might
she
look
has an
plain to you, but
advantage,
when Ramona wields
because
that
it does
sling,
extra damage
even
against
Gundam
girls.
robots fall to pieces.
It also gives her a +2
Yeah.
bonus against girls.
That doesn't sound very impressive.
Sure, it's a tiny number, but in context, all power-ups in Scott Pilgrim's world use small numbers for big changes, so it's actually not half bad.
Well, either way, somehow she keeps all her weapons in her purse. How the hell do women do that?
That's not just any purse, Boomstick, it's her subspace suitcase. It may seem like an ordinary bag, but it's actually a door to an extra-dimensional hammer space.
Okay.
This subspace is a series of pocket dimensions available to certain people through extra-dimensional doorways.
Dimension in a bag, got it.
It's more of a doorway, and the dimension it leads to exists inside Ramona's head. She can even control this particular pocket of space with her emotions.
Jesus, what the hell were these writers on?
Heroine. And by that I mean a strong female protagonist. Heyo!
Heyo.
What's with you today?
Without Ramona's skills and weaponry, Scott likely would have never succeeded in defeating the evil exes.
Like when she fought
Dead.
Roxy, her ex from her sexy phase. Roxy is strong enough to knock Scott so hard he smashed several steel I-beams, which would need at least 3,000 pounds of force.
Damn.
And Ramona's taking hits and sexing up this superpowered chick, no problem.
She's also got many years of experience under her belt. Even
Well,
when
I can't
she's
believe
just around
Ramona
12
likes
years
girls.
old,
I
she
wonder
can
if they'll
fight off
ever
an
do anything
entire
with
army
that.
of older jocks all at once.
Haha.
She's strong enough to send people flying dozens of feet through the air with a smack of her hammer. And she's so fast and nimble on her rollerblades, she can keep up with ninjas. Man, this chick's got it all.
Don't get too starry-eyed just yet, though. Ramona has her fair share of problems. For example, the only
Yeah,
reason Ramona
that's-
has so much
that's
control
part of
over her subspace in the first place
why I love
is
this
because
show.
one of her exes
It's cool
infected her with the glow.
Seeing them
The
like
glow, huh?
talk
That's a
about
rough one.
these
I've got it
characters
too.
in a cool context
Wait,
like
really?
this.
You have an energy field which turns your own emotions against you?
Yeah, that's what I have. On a completely unrelated note, Wiz, how long should one's genitals normally, glow in the dark?
Exactly 0 seconds.
Okay, well, it's a good thing I don't have that problem then. But roller coasters of emotions aside, Ramona is one hell of an ass-kicking girlfriend any man would be lucky to get with.
Is that
I
the
think you need a doctor.
cat from
Well, then get investigate his pretentious
Night in the
ass up
Woods?
here, 'cause I'm about to kick yours out of the Great White North.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's
because
end
they
this debate once
usually
and for all.
yeah they
But
usually
first,
do
if you're
characters
one
with
of those
some
people who eats
combative
food, then I have
stats.
some great information
Usually
for you.
there
Tell
have
it,
been
Wiz.
exceptions,
Shipping
like Blue
take
Apron.
place.
We love Blue Apron. She might have a page on Versus Battle Wiki. But here's the fight. Hedgehog. And they use Night of Nights for the background track, which works surprisingly well. I hope if Death Battle continues, we do get a Toho character on it eventually. Because Toho's fun for versus. This is like what the Rainbow Road bonus level from Scott Pilgrim. Ramona, you have to wake up, Ramona. Oh no. Well.
KO! Game over.
Ramona may
Poor
have
Scott,
been the
man.
smarter and more level-headed of the two, but Amy just had the edge in almost
Yeah.
every other category.
This is a
Ramona can skate
fun
faster
fight.
than most,
The
but
pacing's a
Amy's
bit
fast enough to keep
weird
up
at
with
times.
Sonic. To be clear, she's definitely not as fast as Sonic, but she's certainly capable of catching up to him at times.
True.
Ramona stood no chance in the speed
Yeah,
department.
and some
so
of
she had to
the
rely on her
sprite
skill and
animation
strength.
is a
And while they both
bit
had similar
janky, but
strength
it's
feats,
fun.
like defeating giant robots
And it's
or
nice
whacking
seeing
people
weird
a
series
huge
like
distance
Scott
with their
Pilgrim
hammers,
on the show.
Amy's feats go several steps beyond anything of Ramona's.
Take Amy throwing her hammer into Eggman's ship in the sky, for instance. Given the height of the ship and Amy's location, it's likely she had to throw her hammer at least 2,100 feet. While her hammer's exact weight is unknown, its head is large enough to be compared to the biggest sledgehammer ever used by man, which was 64 pounds.
What?
In order to hit Eggman's ship as hard as she did, she
It's
must
such a
have thrown her
weird
hammer with 2 tons of force
fact.
at bare minimum. And we're really lowballing
Yeah.
that.
Well, I
And
mean,
that was just the
in
first
fairness,
throw. The
Toho
second
is one of
made
those
the
series
ship
that's
spin over, putting it way higher
very
than 2
tricky to
tons.
scale,
Ramona at her best
and
could take a hit
also
from Roxy,
difficult
who
to
can
find
dole out
good
animax up to
opponents
1.5
for,
tons of
because
force.
all the characters are
Whereas
technically
Amy
like
survived being crushed by a
multiversal or
boulder
something
which,
like
scaled
that.
to her height, weighed at least
Listen, this
4
is why
tons.
I'm saying
Ramona gained an advantage when she
Sakia
brought the
Izuyoi
fight to her
versus Dave
subspace
Strider.
first
Make it
mind.
happen.
But when Ramona's
wanna
ex
see it.
Gideon was trapped in that subspace, he was able to escape by destroying her bag. As Amy is stronger and faster than Ramona, there's no reason to believe she could
That
do
is
the
true.
same. And with Ramona's last trump card out of commission, all Amy had to do was finish her off.
Looks like Amy rose to the occasion.
The winner is Amy Rose.
Next time on Death Battle.
It's Jumbo Josh!
Hulk is next, and
Actually, you know what? Let's, since you brought up, let's take a short break from Death Battle itself. So this is 1 minute melee. I don't know if you've heard of this. this was a versus show. It's on indefinite hiatus at the moment. But they've done a bunch of smaller stuff. This is what Screw Attacks replaced with DBX. They eventually went independent, did their own thing for a while. But they've done a bunch of cool stuff. This is one of my favorites, still to this day.
1 minute melee.
Is Sakia versus Dio. I just want to watch this because this video is so good.
No research. 60 seconds. Melee. Go.
And they do a cool thing with it because the gimmick of 1 minute melee is that the fights are 1 minute long. Obviously, it's in the name. But if you know these characters' powers, you can imagine that they might play with that a little bit.
This ought to be a match to remember.
This was also before we got any JoJo characters in Death Battle, because we do get some JoJo characters in Death Battle later. You'll see. Yeah, this is basically like an animated, like, fighting game match. And they stop it at 1 second to continue. It's so cool. And Dio grabs his arm and hits her with it? It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, 1 Minute Melee's done a bunch of great little animations. I recommend you check them out if you haven't. Like, even if you don't know the characters. It's just cool. But for now, it's the Hulk, baby.
Our new game, Super Red,
Moving on from characters who use, like, strategy and time manipulation to big punch men.
Pure, unadulterated rage. Usually, in a stressful situation, you'd want to avoid this sort of emotion in order to keep yourself focused.
Unless you're a giant rampaging pile of muscles, like these two.
Dr. Bruce Banner, the Incredible Hulk.
And Doomsday, the monster who killed Superman. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Within each of us, oft times, there dwells a mighty and raging fury. And this suits no one better than the mild-mannered scientist, Bruce Banner.
'Cause when Bruce gets angry, oh boy, You wouldn't like him when he's angry.
Dr. Robert Bruce Banner may have
So
grown
there
up
is
with
some
few
interesting
friends, but
history
what
for
he lacked
this.
in popularity, he made up
They
tenfold with his intellect.
had a
However,
couple
in spite of his
options for
gifts,
who
it
they
was
wanted
never
Hulk
enough
to
earn the
fight.
respect and love
They
of his
initially
father.
wanted to do
Partly because
Hulk
Bruce was so
versus
smart that his
Broly
alcoholic dad
from
literally
Dragon
thought he was
Ball.
a monster and expressed
but
that
then
to
they thought
Bruce
of
pretty
the
thoroughly.
Doomsday idea,
God damn! How much distance do you think you got there, Wiz?
so they put it up
9,
to a
10
Twitter
feet?
poll,
Man,
and
with an arm
the
like
fans
that,
on Twitter
he could really go
chose
places.
Doomsday.
Like the nut house after he murdered his wife right in front of Bruce. Aw.
Understandably traumatized.
It's okay, they
Bruce
do
coped
Hulk
by
versus
creating an
Broly
imaginary
later,
friend
if you
to
were
talk to.
really,
You know, I had an
really
imaginary friend
upset
once.
about that
Dad.
What was
outcome.
his name?
Dad.
Oh. Well, Bruce's friend served as an emotional outlet all the way
Kim!
through his
Hi,
college
you made it.
graduation. However, his advice to
You
Bruce
just
was
missed Amy
oftentimes
Rose versus Ramona
destructive.
Flowers,
So when the US
unfortunately.
military recruited
We're
Bruce to make
watching
weapons,
The
it was
Hulk.
Actually kind of fitting.
Bruce
Hulk
was tasked
versus
with developing
Doomsday.
a gamma bomb, which would use gamma radiation
No,
to
it's
target
not a
enemy
dick.
weapons
Yeah.
without endangering human lives. At least that's what Bruce was told.
Surprise, surprise! Gamma radiation
Yeah.
is
Death
actually
Bow's-
pretty fucking
Death Bow's
harmful.
cool.
And when it came time to test the bomb, and some dumb kid decided to play his harmonica right in the test zone, Bruce asked his assistant to stop the countdown and dashed off to
Yeah, we
save
want to
him.
at least
But turns
finish
out his assistant was a
season
Russian
3
spy
tonight.
who
We
set
might
off the
start
bomb
season
anyway.
4. We'll
On
see.
that
We only have a few
strange,
episodes
strange
left
day,
of season 3.
Bruce's imaginary friend became a
But-
real-life terror as he transformed into the Incredible
Yeah,
Hulk.
well, we don't know for sure it's over yet. They're probably gonna at least do one more season because season 11
Really?
is in production
Yes,
right now.
Apparently. Ever since,
Um,
whenever he's angry, Bruce's body and
but,
mind morphs
yeah,
into that of the
it's-
Hulk, granting him unmeasurable
It's
power.
a rough situation.
While he loses Bruce's brain power, the Hulk is ridiculously strong. He can leap great distances, survive
Yeah.
the harshest environments,
Ban Ban
and
would get
most
destroyed
importantly,
by Baldy.
smash the crap out of everything
Probably.
with his
I
bare
mean,
fists.
He also knows a technique
I
known
don't know.
as the
Is there,
thunderclap,
like,
which creates a shockwave that
is
can
there
deafen
stats
foes, level forests, and push
for
back explosions.
As if
Ban
he
Ban
needed
and
anything more
Baldy?
than that, the Hulk has a healing factor that gives Wolverines a run for his money.
You're healing. You should be dead.
He's super strong and super hard to kill. What's not to like?
So
There's
true.
one little detail that kind of ruins the whole experience.
Well, it
Bruce
depends.
can't
Okay, it
really
depends on
control
how
the Hulk.
good
In
how
fact,
good
the Hulk
Ban Ban
his
is at
own
math.
being, and they both hate
That's-
each other,
that's the
vying
kicker.
for dominance over Bruce's
How
body.
good
And
is
yet,
Ban Ban at
Bruce and the
math?
Hulk are often reminded how much they depend on each other for survival.
Bruce figured if he was stuck with his big green Goliath forever, he might as well try using it for good, eventually joining the Avengers, Defenders, the Fantastic Four, and even the Illuminati.
Hulk has held
Yeah,
up
since
a
you haven't been here
150
for
billion-ton
a few
mountain,
streams,
escaped Earth's
there is
gravitational pull with a single
there has
jump.
been
And one
an
time when a
improvement
planet's
in
tectonic
quality
plates started splitting apart,
uh,
threatening to shatter
from
the whole world,
season
he just
1.
jumped right in there and pulled the planet back together.
especially in
The
terms of
estimated
the
average mass of
animation.
a single lithospheric
I mean,
plate
Ban
is
Ban's
nearly
like-
45 quintillion
okay.
tons, and the
I
Hulk
I
pulled
think
two of
the
these together with
the
nothing
Ban
but his
Ban
bare
in the
hands.
current
And he's not
like
just strong and
timeline
tough, he's more than twice as
is
fast
actually
as a
some
fighter
other
jet,
guy who's
which
like
puts
turned
him
into
over
Ban
Mach 5
Ban. I don't
speeds
know.
at
The
least,
lore of that
and he
game
can
is
always
weird.
go faster if he's pissed off enough.
This is because the
Look at me
savage
talking
Hulk's
over them
strength
talking
is
about
directly related
Hulk,
to his
everyone's
anger.
favorite
The
guy.
angrier he gets, the more powerful he becomes.
He's very
In theory,
green.
This means his maximum level of strength is potentially infinite. And when he taps into that immeasurable rage to the fullest, he truly lives up to his name of World Breaker.
Bigger, stronger, and oozing with gamma radiation, the World Breaker Hulk is so powerful with a
Yeah,
single
Stinger
stomp
Flynn
he
can, like,
created
send people
earthquakes
to, like, a
felt hundreds of
dream
miles
realm
away.
or something.
In his battle with Sentry, basically Marvel's
What?
Superman,
Why?
they almost destroyed New York.
Why
And when
that?
battling another World Breaker Hulk, a single collision
Why
between them
Stinger Flynn versus
obliterated
Koichi?
an entire planet.
Even the mutant Darwin's power, which specifically adapts to counter any enemy, decided that the best defense against the Hulk was to be somewhere else.
He
Holy
looks a bit
hell,
like Act
Who
2.
could even stand up to this madness?
He's
Not
just a
many,
jellyfish.
obviously. Typically, Bruce does his best to contain and limit the Hulk's power. In fact, World Breaker Hulk is a result of Bruce relinquishing that control entirely. In terms of combat, usually only cosmic beings like Silver Surfer
Okay,
or
how about
Zeus have
this?
the might to challenge
Stinger
the Hulk.
Flynn versus
Oh, yeah.
King
Like
Jellyfish
that one
from
time Zeus
SpongeBob.
hit him so hard, it burned out his healing factor.
But even gods sometimes have to learn the hard way. You do not mess with the Incredible Hulk.
I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
I'm glad they used this scene. This is the best Hulk scene ever, out of anything.
Puny god.
What if all you had ever known was hatred and aggression,
And now
violence
everyone's
and pain?
everyone's
life is
favorite guy,
reality for you.
Doomsday.
Comments, Doomsday. Yeah, the Doomsday guy.
Thousands of years ago, on an uninhabitable prehistoric planet which would one day be known as Krypton, a scientist named Bertrand intended to engineer the ultimate life form.
Yep, it's another one of those stories, but with one hell of a twist.
See, at this time, Krypton was a harsh wasteland filled with nothing but sharp rocks, poisonous air, and violent predators.
Bertrand believed that if he could create something
The
that could live
backstory's
through that,
funny,
they could
though.
survive just
Th-
about
this
anywhere.
backstory is
To
amazing.
realize this theory, Bertrand acquired an infant from somewhere, and through a rapidly accelerated evolution process, attempted to transform him into his dream creation.
Oh, don't try to dance around it, Wiz. Bertrand put that little sucker into a baby cannon, blasted him into the wild to get murdered by any number of things, sucked up what was left of him with a vacuum cleaner, and just cloned a new one out of the mess to do it all over again.
Well, yeah. The idea being each new clone would be stronger
That's,
than the one before,
like,
thus
morbidly
covering
hilarious.
millions of years of evolution in just a few decades.
That doesn't sound like science.
No,
Baby cannon.
It
Yep.
doesn't. So after 30 straight years of baby murder, one of the clones finally survived the test. Amazed by his own success, Bertrand named this baby the Ultimate.
The ultimate baby.
But to the rest of the universe,
Ultimate
he was
baby.
their doomsday.
See, Wiz, reloading as it is, patenting my baby cannon was a good idea.
Successful as Bertrand's
That is also a
experiment
callback
was,
to a
it was
joke from an
anything
earlier
but a
episode,
good idea. Turns
where
out,
Boomstick
while Doomsday
proposes the
usually
idea
appears
of
to
a
be
baby
mindless
cannon,
beast, he
and Wiz
remembered
scolds him,
every
saying it's a
single
bad
time
idea because it
Bertrand
would
had
take
him
9
killed.
months to
As a
reload.
result, Doomsday had been unintentionally programmed at a genetic level to hate everything that lives.
Bummer. Needless to say, Bertrand was pretty screwed.
Because even with 30 years of development, Bertrand had never quite figured out what to do if his experiment actually worked. Because Bertrand is the worst.
I mean, he did do what he set out to do.
He
made
does
an
kind of look like a
8-foot
Ben
10
10
that
monster.
doesn't need to
I
eat,
think it's
breathe,
also just
or
the
have
animation
internal
style
organs to live.
of the
It
series.
just kills and kills and kills some more.
Doomsday possesses enormous strength, incredible durability, and poisonous spikes which can extend. But due to Bertrand's experiments, Doomsday's greatest power of all is his ability to adapt to his opponent's powers.
After taking his sweet
But yeah,
revenge,
Doomsday is one of those
stowed
characters
away
that's
on a
like
supply ship and
Mr.
ravaged
versus
dozens of
Battle
planets
guy.
until he
He's
finally
just
found
really
himself
strong
on Earth.
and
On
can
that
adapt
day,
to
Doomsday did the
characters.
unthinkable. On that day,
I mean, he was
Doomsday
created
killed
to
Superman.
kill Superman. Like
Well,
that
kind of. He actually put him into a
famous,
super sleep after
like,
several days.
comic
He kinda
book
woke up more
event.
powerful.
Yeah.
he
we
he
all
was
know
he was
Wiz.
the bad
At
guy who
least
did
Supes
it.
took Doomsday
So he
down
was
with him.
designed to be
Or
super
maybe
powerful
not.
and
Turns out, whenever
have the
Doomsday
ability
dies,
to
he just comes
do
back to
that.
life, forever immune to whatever killed him in the first place.
Can't beat me the same way twice.
He's been punched to death by Superman, blasted apart by the Radiant's energy, brutally ripped in half, incinerated by Imperiex, and just curb stomped by a Kryptonian horde.
Practically invulnerable at this point, Doomsday's taken on Darkseid.
What if
taking
he
his
had
Omega beams and
Anubis?
beating him to near death.
What, from
He
JoJo,
single-handedly
the
defeated
sword?
most of the Justice League and took on an energy attack that wiped out a fifth of a planet.
He's punched
I
through
don't
the
know.
Phantom Zone, battled super beings called Gogs for a century, and even broken Wonder Woman's arms. Arms strong enough to help pull the Earth.
And during his rematch with the Man of Steel, after witnessing Doomsday survive an explosion equivalent to 1 million nukes, Superman realized that the only way to stop him
Champ.
was to send him to the end of time.
At his most powerful, Doomsday's mere presence can boil the ocean and disintegrate buildings. A casual stroll across Africa made wildebeest an endangered species just by walking around. But what he's got in strength, he really lacks in brains.
Not that he's dumb, he just literally lacks a brain. More often
You
than not,
stupid.
Doomsday is little more than a one-track mind-killing machine. This makes his intentions predictable, and a clever opponent could use this to, say, lead him into a trap. And should that foe come up with a new way to hurt Doomsday, he could be killed.
Still, that's gonna be pretty goddamn hard to do.
I think he got him.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first,
This fight does go kind of crazy, though.
And value. There's a offers a
Oh god,
softer
remember
flex blade,
Harry's? Remember when
trimmer
this was
blade,
one of the, like,
textured
the
handle for
YouTube
control,
ad companies?
shave battle at free trial.
This fight is cool. Look at these Tokyo Mirage Sessions NPCs. Also, there was Sanic in the background. I don't know if you saw that, but Sanic was in the background running past. That's how I get to work. I fly in a pod. Yeah, they have like actual 3D animation now with good motion capture. But don't worry, this is far from the peak of Death Battle's power. They haven't even reached their final form yet. Metal Gear Rising music also goes hard for this. I mean, it's these guys. Like, there's gonna be a lot of collateral damage.
Okay, you. Okay, spiky beard.
Hulk fights in, like, a china shop, and he can't break anything. It doesn't help that he's just naturally very large. He's a big man.
You break buildings good, but Hulk, break walls.
Firefighting gif. I mean, like I said, episode goes kind of hard. I also like that visual for Doomsday's healing. Oh yeah, I hope you guys aren't too attached to the Hulk because, yeah, he's dead. He's fucking dead. But with a character like Doomsday, it's, Yeah, you kind of expect it to be brutal. Also,
With
hey.
the Hulk's
Oh
immeasurable
no.
power and Doomsday's impossible immortality, this truly felt like a fight between an unstoppable
Well, I
force
mean,
and an immovable
this fight's pretty self-explanatory. What you see is what you get. It's two big guys punching the shit out of each other, and it's really good and really violent.
Darkseid prove he can take a hit from someone strong enough to break planets.
And by experience, Doomsday had the speed advantage. He regularly fights foes with light speed capabilities, while that kind of speed is an extreme rarity in the Marvel Universe. In fact, the only foe that fast who Hulk's ever seemed to keep pace with in a one-on-one match was Sentry, and that was when he was at his most powerful stage, Worldbreaker Hulk.
So overall, Hulk had strength and Doomsday had speed, but neither completely outclassed the other. At first glance, this one looked like it could go either way.
Which means the devil's in the very tiny details.
So why couldn't the Hulk's infinite strength just keep rising and
Yeah.
eventually overwhelm Doomsday?
I mentioned
Well, even
earlier,
assuming
Doomsday's
Hulk's
kind
strength
of
was infinite,
one of
his healing
those
factor was
Mr.
not.
versus
Don't get me
battle
wrong, he can only
guys
be overtaxed by
where
hits from absurdly powerful
he's just
beings such
designed
as
to be
Zeus or
strong
Sentry,
and
who Doomsday
impossible to
certainly
kill,
compares.
and that's the
Naturally,
entire
Doomsday's
point of
crazy
him.
strength and speed
He's
started
barely
wearing
even a
that healing
character.
factor
He's an
down.
obstacle.
Here's where it gets a bit tricky. The Hulk may look like a giant green monster, but he's still technically human, and his power directly correlates with his anger. A human being's anger stems from an increase in hormones and
Probably.
adrenaline in the body. However, the brain can only produce these chemicals at such a rate for a limited time, eventually giving up and turning apathetic. Therefore, Hulk's limitless power
I
could
do
never
like
have
this
existed
analysis,
without his
though,
healing factor.
where they
Instead,
discuss
it allowed his body to continue
like
producing
the
hormones and
relation
adrenaline
between
far
Hulk's
beyond the
anger
norm,
and his
theoretically an
healing,
endless supply, thus
and
increasing
why
his
that
superhuman
was
power
like
to an immeasurable degree.
sort of the deciding
So
factor
Doomsday
in him
overtaxing
not
his
being
healing
able to
factor
go
meant
on
the Hulk
forever.
could no longer maintain his increasing rage and Hulk form.
And if you're still skeptical, that's why there's a bunch of times in comics when a huge impact forced the Hulk to turn back into Bruce Banner, including that battle between Worldbreaker Hulk and Sentry. With his healing power beaten down, he literally couldn't keep himself angry enough to stay in Hulk mode.
I love science, but there's still one more thing. Thanks to his battles with Superman and other Kryptonians, Doomsday has evolved to a point where it's basically impossible to kill him with brute force alone.
So Hulk couldn't have killed him by just getting angry enough to punch harder than Doomsday ever felt.
Precisely. Here's the proof. Superman and Doomsday eventually had a rematch, in which Superman was much more powerful than their first battle.
Look at that
As we
90s
discussed
ass
before,
Superman
Superman's
design,
power is
goddamn.
also potentially limitless by way of continually absorbing solar energy, and at this point in his story, he'd begun to discover that.
But try as he might, despite his increased power, Supes couldn't kill Doomsday with blunt force a second time.
Ultimately, Doomsday's immunity to being ripped, impaled, incinerated, blasted with energy, and being beaten by blunt force from both focused and multiple sources means Hulk just didn't have the options available to take Doomsday out before his healing factor was overtaxed.
Yeah.
On this day, Hulk met his doom. Doomsday.
The
I
winner
mean,
is
it's hard when you're up against a guy who's designed to be
Next time
as
on
unkillable
Death
as
Battle.
possible. Yeah, no fancy clips. It's everyone's favorite. It's everyone's favorite female Jujutsu Kaisen character, Roanora's Zoro. Zoro versus Erza from Fairy Tail. And I don't think this has any spoilers. I don't think.
Past, present,
There will
or
be
future,
spoilers in
one
later
kind of
One Piece
fighter has
episodes, I
stood the
know,
test
but
of time.
this one
The
I think we're
Swordsman.
good.
And today's combatants
My
are two
favorite
of the
Tom
most
and Jerry
skilled warriors
characters,
to ever
Zoro.
wield a blade.
Roronoa Zoro, the feared swordsman of the Straw Hat Pirates.
And Urza Scarlet, the battle
Love
mage
Zoro.
of the Fairy
Hey,
Tail
hello,
He's
Speed.
Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And
This is
it's our
also
job to analyze
an
their
earlier
weapons,
point
armor,
in
and
both
skills to find out
series,
who would
so
win a death battle.
Neither of them are like up to date with how they would be
As
later.
a child, Roronoa Zoro dreamed of becoming the greatest swordsman in the world.
The
But he
Zoro,
didn't just enroll at a dojo. He showed up, challenged everyone,
Hello.
and then just sort of stuck around.
Zoro's
This
dojo
part is
training
kind of
sharpened his
spoilers,
natural
but
talent
it's
with a sword,
happens
but
very
there was
early in
one
One Piece,
person
so
he
it's
could never quite manage
not
to
really.
beat. His sensei's daughter, Kuina. They dueled a lot, and Kuina won every single match.
down these stairs.
2001 of
Shut
them.
up.
Damn, you think you would have gotten at least one in?
Despite the constant defeat, Kuina and Zoro were very close friends. Together, they promised that someday one of them would become the world's best swordsman.
And then she fell down some stairs and died. Which just seems like an unacceptable way for a master
Mori
swordsman
moment.
to bite the dust.
Does thin out the competition for world's best swordsman, though.
He strikes
True.
again.
I mean, that's how I became the world's best shotgun woodcarver.
After Kuina's death,
Someone
Zoro
should have
inherited
warned
her
her.
sword and used it to hone his skills even
I
further.
warned you about the
Eventually
stairs.
leaving the
I
dojo
told you,
in search of
dog.
The current title holder of world's greatest swordsman, Dracule Mihawk.
But he immediately got himself lost. With nothing better to do, he became a
I'd
bounty
tank that.
hunter and wandered around the ocean until he ran into a weird, stretchy pirate kid.
Alternus
You mean
versus
Monkey
stairs.
D. Luffy, who brought
Death
Zoro
battle.
onto his crew of Straw Hat Pirates.
Actually worked out pretty well since Luffy was already looking to hire him anyway. Turns out Zoro has quite a reputation.
At this point, he was already a master swordsman, and after finding and
I
training under
would
Mihawk,
tech the
his
hit.
swordsmanship
That is
became
true.
legendary.
I mean, that's like
He
literally a
created
thing
his
you
own
can do.
fighting
You
style,
like
Santoryu.
roll to lower
Also
the
called
damage,
three-sword
spread it over
style,
more of your
because he
body.
uses 3 swords, 1 in each hand and 1 in his freaking mouth.
That doesn't seem very safe.
Oh, shut up, Wiz. Badasses don't care about safety.
Regardless, with the 3-sword style, Zoro can perform several unique attacks, including the Onigiri, where he strikes with all 3 blades at once.
Or the Tatsumaki, where he makes a tornado dragon.
By swinging his swords a certain way, he can fire compressed air projectiles toward an
Zoro's
opponent, like
mouth
with his deadliest
sword is one of
technique,
those
the
things that's
1080-pound cannon. And
very
last but not
stupid,
least, he knows the Kyutoryu
but it
9
wraps
sword
back around to
style.
being
Wait,
so cool.
Did he just grow 4 more arms and 2 more heads? How the hell did he do that?
It's just an illusion, but it still somehow has physical presence.
He's like a human slap chop with a total of 9 swords.
That's one way to put it. In addition to his skills with a blade, Zoro is able to use Haki, a mysterious power that every living being possesses, but only a select few have learned how to use.
Haki, much like Neapolitan ice cream, comes in 3 flavors, and Zoro
Oh,
only
yeah.
has access to chocolate and vanilla.
Chocolate,
Yeah,
what?
One Piece
I don't
is
even, well, one of those
very
flavors is
goofy
observation Haki.
in
That's
certain
vanilla.
ways.
Of course.
It's still
Which
like
in some ways is
obviously
kind of
serious,
Spidey sense.
but it's also
Zoro can sense the location of
it's
other
a little
people,
silly.
even if they're invisible or far away, and can also predict most opponents' attacks.
Then chocolate, everyone's favorite hockey flavor, is armament hockey. This lets him form an invisible armor around himself as protection, or harden his swords to make his strikes cut through almost anything.
yeah.
With both Haki, Zoro has been a real asset to the Straw Hat Pirates. They've traveled the world and had a lot of weird adventures.
Like that time Zoro fought a literal living mountain man named Pika and sliced him clean in half.
A strike so powerful it didn't just cut through Pika, it sent his top half flying upward. Considering Pika's enormous size and approximate mass, this strike
Oh, yeah.
had to have been more powerful
Saitama
than the first
versus
ever deployed
Popeye
hydrogen
is
bomb,
good.
the 11 megaton Castle Romeo.
Also,
We'll get
Zoro's
there
pretty
eventually.
damn fast. One time he moved so quickly he seemed invisible to a room full of highly trained assassins. And when the odds are against him, he'll keep pushing himself, even past the point of bleeding out.
Thus, he's powered through some incredibly intense pain, such as...
Holy
Good
shit!
gift.
How the hell is he still standing after that?
That's a good question. After a battle with Kuma, a bear man because this is One Piece, Zoro took on not only his own pain from near death, but also Luffy's, despite being told that doing so would surely kill him. But it just didn't.
He's simply built
Doesn't
different.
even brag about it.
He's simply
What a
built
badass.
different.
Zoro is definitely the stoic badass type, but he can't do everything. He's a sword fighter above all, and prefers to fight up close and personal.
He also has the world's shittiest sense of direction. He gets lost without someone there literally reading the map for him, and could never survive on his own without his friends.
You might think Zoro would be more of a lone wolf type of guy, but no. Much like how Kuina's death spurred him on to become a great swordsman, it's his friends who keep him
His
fighting.
name is so low.
I set sail
Just
for
like
only
a
one
samurai.
reason, to meet you.
And what is your goal?
To beat you.
Urza Scarlet grew up in a small rural town called Rosemary
I think this
Village.
is actually
It
the
was pretty
first
picturesque as far as childhoods
appearance
go.
for both
Hold
of
on,
these
Wiz,
series
I'm getting a premonition.
on Death Battle.
Despite everything
For
seeming
both One Piece and
perfect,
Fairy Tail.
Something terrible.
Yeah, I think they had like
happened.
just
A murderous
gotten
cult
there.
attacked, destroyed the city, and enslaved the children to build a tower to resurrect their evil overlord.
There it is.
Young Urza was tortured, and while she may have lost an eye in the process, she
So,
also gained a friend, Jalal
this
Fernandez.
Zora is not
He actually gave Urza her last name, Scarlet,
as strong
after her
as
red
Zora
hair.
would be
She and her buddies
if they did
swore
this
they'd
episode
escape,
now.
so Urza ended up staging a revolt and
Not
saved
nearly
the other
strong.
slaves thanks to discovering her latent magical powers.
Unfortunately, not everyone made it out.
Turns out Jalal got possessed by some spirit that made him a huge dick, and she had to go without him.
Fine, if you want to leave so badly, then I'm not going to stop you. But you'll have to go alone.
After that nightmare, Urza swore to dedicate her life to helping and protecting the innocent, and so joined the Fairy Tale Magicians Guild. Luckily for them, she possessed a great skill set for a mage.
Her main thing is requip magic, which is basically like having an armory with you at all times.
Fairy
without
Tales
having
Wonder
to lug it
series.
Requip
I've
magic
always
allows
thought
Urza to
looked
summon her
cool,
vast array of
but
weapons
I've
and
also
armor
heard
at
it's kind
will,
of
meaning she can use multiple combinations of swords, lances, and outfits all in one fight without ever really
Like, I do
slowing
think
down.
Urza's cool.
Damn, that'd be useful for all my weapons.
And she's
How
hot,
many is she packing?
obviously.
She's rumored to have access to as many as 100 sets of armor and 200 weapons.
Nice! As far as armor goes, her go-to is the standard Heart Cruise set. But there's also the Heaven's Wheel armor, where she can send
But, like,
swords flying at people,
I mean,
the spiky defensive
it might be
adamantine
going a
armor,
bit
and the Blackwing and Flame Empress
over
armor,
the
which have
top with
wings
some of these.
for flying.
Don't forget her giant armor, which she uses with a lance, purgatory armor, which has a lot of spikes, and seduction armor? I'm not really sure what purpose this serves.
Probably to make enemies
Come on,
terribly
man.
aroused. Ever tried to fight with an erection whiz? Believe me, it's not easy.
Right. Well, Urza claims her most powerful armor is the Armadura Fairy Armor, which is very pink.
These are fancy and all, but sometimes she doesn't even bother suiting up. If her back's against the wall, Urza equips her Clear Heart clothing. This enhances her speed and attack over defense, and channels all her magical energy into her katanas for a decisive blow.
She can charge magic through her swords to perform all sorts of magical attacks, even mixing and matching weapons and armors to better her chances in a fight.
She's also just really good at sword fighting. Actually, she's really good with a lot of weapons, including hand-to-hand.
All of this makes Urza an excellent addition to the Fairy Tale Guild. She quickly became one of its highest-ranking mages and was the youngest member to ever pass the S-Class Mage promotion test. An incredibly difficult gauntlet only the strongest and wisest of warriors can even attempt.
Speaking of achievements, she's pretty friggin' strong. Don't believe me? Well, here she is, lancing a hole through a giant floating cube.
This
Cube.
cube was about 100 million cubic miles in
Cube.
volume. To punch through it, Urza's lance must have dealt about 16 kilotons of force.
Hers is also fast enough to deflect bullets point blank from a flintlock pistol. Guns with a muzzle velocity of about 540 miles per hour. And that's without a speed boost from her armor.
Right, many of her armor sets grant her stat boosts, increasing her speed, magic, defense, etc. She's survived plenty of destructive blasts, including one that blew up an island. Considering that island's size, that's an explosion equivalent to 2 kilotons of TNT.
So she's sexy, can survive island-busting attacks, and has a shit ton of weapons? She's basically perfect. Just wish she used a gun or two.
Well, she may have a vast armory, but swapping them in and out requires magic, and she can run her supply down if she's not careful.
So it's just like a mana bar in those fantasy games you always play.
Exactly.
Diablo.
Though even when she's out of magic, she's still quite deadly in hand-to-hand. Like when she fought her alternate self from another parallel universe.
That universe has a lot less clothing.
Come on, man.
Sign me up!
But when you're among
Boob.
the best in the guild, you get the job done no matter the limits.
I will withstand any physical pain to protect the ones that I love.
I just went up a
All
viewer
right,
when
the
they
combatants
showed
are set.
the
Let's
boob.
end this debate once and for all.
It's time for a death battle!
Okay, no ad.
Oh, sorry, lady. Could you point me in the way of the shipyard? I've been looking around for hours.
The people do know what they want.
You're the one I'm looking for. Come peacefully and you won't be harmed.
Sorry, I'm busy. Maybe later.
then we'll have to do this the hard way.
I told you I'm busy. Fine. Well, I guess we're doing this now.
It's a cute intro. It's one of the most, like, in-character intros for both combatants that they have in the series. Because, like, yeah, this is a reason why they would fight.
What?
You're coming with me!
Neat trick. Try laughing at this!
You are strong, pirate, but this is world great!
Fool. Nothing is worse than the loss of life.
Don't start crying, woman.
What?
So much for all that true strength.
Okay, that part
bullshit,
looks a bit weird.
No. I can do this!
I will claim this bounty for my guild! For my strength! For my friends!
Bring it on! You're not the only one who fights for their friends!
That shot's cool as fuck. Zoro cutting the mountain in half.
Where the hell is that
That goes
shipyard?
so hard.
Jesus! Talk about a killing blow!
Yeah, this
In
this
the
one's
past, Urza
really
could
good.
react to projectiles flying over 500
Like,
miles
I guess
per
the
hour,
only complaint I have
but
is that
Zoro
their
can move
sprites
faster than
kind of
the eye
clash a
can
bit,
see.
because
US Air Force
Urza's
tests
didn't have
shown
like
that a
hard
well-trained human eye
outlines
can
while
consistently
Zora's
spot and
did.
recognize an image in
But this is
1/20th
just a
of
very
second.
solid, like,
So, in this case, Zoro would have had to move
well-paced
from point A to
fight
point B,
with a
which is about
very
57
good killing
feet,
blow.
in 4.5
I don't know what more you
milliseconds.
could ask for
That's close to
from an episode
9,000
like
miles
this.
per hour.
That's more than 5 times faster than a bullet. Urza didn't really rely on speed anyway, and there's no evidence any of her armor magic could have helped close that wide of a gap.
Speaking of her armor, Urza did have more options in defense and weaponry.
He ran over to
Unfortunately for
cut
her,
the
she
mountain
simply
just to
outclassed
style.
the damage dealt.
Urza could withstand hits of about 2 kilotons, like the blast which destroyed that island.
No, he used
But Zoro
one
was discounting
hand, one
much
sword
stronger
to
blows
cut
than
Urza,
that.
and then the other
Slicing
hand,
Pika
other
in half,
sword,
for
to
example,
cut the
was
mountain.
equivalent to
He just
11.5
reached
megatons.
very far
That's
away.
about 6,000 times bigger than anything Urza has survived. And while Urza's artificial eye may have seen through Zoro's nine-sword style illusion, it couldn't prevent him from actually attacking her.
She also had that habit of stripping down to clear hard clothing in a bind. Yeah, it gave her more sword power, but at the cost of less defense. This sounded like a good idea on paper, but close-range combat was Zoro's bread and butter.
Urza was mostly self-taught, and while proficient with a blade, Zoro has trained with swords all his life. Even with the greatest swordsman in the world, an up-close duel was exactly what he was looking for.
Guess she won't be getting a fairy tale ending.
The winner is Roronoa Zoro.
Alright, and I believe the next episode
Next time on Death Battle.
is the season finale, actually.
Hey guys, I'm Chad.
And Deadpool's back. So, I think during season 1, when we were talking about Starscream versus Rainbow Dash, I said there were 3 pony episodes. I lied, there's 4. I forgot about this one.
Before we get into the episode, I wanted to let you know that all of day support.
This is a strange one.
Fiction has a very fragile set of rules. Authors should be wary, as one small crack can be
A
enough
Deadpool
to
versus
smash the
Deathstroke is
boundary
good.
and
It's
send
very
your
good.
stories
It's one of the
careening out of
best.
control.
we really doing this?
I'll
We're
update
really
the tier list again
Well,
after this
here's
one,
Deadpool,
and I'll
Marvel's
show
Merc
you
with a
where we sit
And
on
Pinkie
the stuff.
Pie, Equestria's peppy party pony.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Loneliness, depression, cancer. When you think of the Merc with a mouth, these are unlikely to be the first things you associate with the assassin called Deadpool. Yet, before the red and black suit, these were the ingredients in the life of Wade Wilson.
Blah, blah, blah. We've been over this before.
Yeah.
How about we just skip to the best parts?
Hold up! You just can't skip my amazing origin story like that. I have a movie now, so we have all this crispy new footage to use. For educational purposes, of course.
This was part of the reason they did this episode, because the Deadpool movie had just come out.
In short, Wilson was a
You'll notice
mercenary
that
who developed cancer.
in later seasons, where sometimes an episode will come out and you're like, oh, I didn't know people wanted this matchup. And then you'll remember that a superhero movie had come out around a similar time.
That would have been a much better superhero name for you.
Whatever you say, Captain Bucktooth. You know as well as I do that I'm kind of a big deal, and I've always lived that lit, fresh mercenary life. And I even partner up with famous little Wolvie on occasion, like when I worked with the X-Force.
Yeah, where's your mute button?
I probably left it in the Savage Land after my dinosaur rodeo.
The what?
Oh yeah, check it out. I took a selfie. Hashtag no filter.
Huh. Would you look at that?
Speaking of Wolverine, Deadpool gained a healing factor from those experiments, which easily trumps anything the X-Man can do. He's strong enough to redirect a rogue helicopter, fights faster than a normal man can react, and is an expert marksman with virtually any weapon he touches.
To all my adoring fans out there, you know what I'm all about. Swords. I got them. They're made of this nano-ceramic fiber sharp enough to cut through Spidey's webs and right through his franchise. Grenades, shurikens, bolas and sais, all that good Naruto stuff. I got them on deck, baby. Personal fave, though? Bullets. I spread them like Santa spreads Christmas joy.
Are those Heckler and Koch Mark 23 pistols?
Yeah, but they can be whatever you want them to be, baby.
Oh, right. You got the magic bag with the elephant.
Wait, what are you talking about? What elephant?
After gaining his enhanced abilities,
And this is
Deadpool's
once
life
again
only got
Takahata
strained.
101
He's gone on time-traveling
as
adventures with the mutant
Deadpool,
Cable,
and he does a
joined
very
the
good
Agent
job.
X mercenary force, temporarily gained the power cosmic, and even got involved in a love triangle involving death.
Oh, that whole debacle? Okay, so get this. You know the Grim
Yeah, Deadpool's
Reaper,
like
Spectre of Death and all
legitimately
that?
a cool character.
Well, turns out she's this sexy hot skeleton babe, and she totally digs the Deadpool. But our Facebook status is still on It's Complicated because I'd have to die to be with her. And then Thanos shows up to try and take her for himself. He cursed me with immortality so I could never see my boo again. But he later took the curse back because he really wanted to kill me. But he can't because then I'd win, and he knows it.
God, I thought I had issues.
Must suck to be a galactic lord. Pretty good for a Vancouver Canadian, right?
Deadpool may be effective as a wisecracking merc, but when he gets serious, he
I have
becomes
seen that
nigh
people say that, like, if
as far as
Deadpool
super
were
enhanced
to
cancer-ridden
come
assassins
back
go. He's gone toe-to-toe
again on
against
Death
Captain
Battle,
America,
they'd want him to fight
infiltrated Dr. Doom's country
Gintoki
of
from
Latveria,
Gintama,
and defeated a
which,
horde of
as a
100
massive
ninjas
Gintama fan,
while
I would
taking on
really
foot.
like. That would be
Even if you
cool.
can top that fighting
And I'm
skill,
actually not sure
Deadpool's
who would
healing
win that.
factor puts him on a whole nother level. It's let him dive headfirst out of a moving plane, survive the friggin' Chrysler building falling on top of him, strode right out of nuclear explosions, and even regenerated from being turned into a puddle. Though that same healing factor is also part of
Versus
Deadpool's
Sans.
greatest weakness.
Hey, you dissing me,
Hey,
bub?
Sans
Well,
versus
Boomstick
the
actually has a
Judge
pretty good point.
almost
Years of
won
immortality has
a
let you get
like
away with
a
being
fan
sloppy in your
poll
approach,
for what
which allows
a future
clever
episode
enough
would
opponent to
be.
gain an upper hand.
So
Like this.
it's
Hey, what? Oh, hey,
on the
hey, what's
characters'
that?
minds.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
No! You monsters!
It lost
I
to
won't go the way of Amazing Spider-Man!
Kratos versus Asura,
No!
which then lost to Wile E. Coyote versus Tom the
When would
Cat
you do
from
that?
Tom and Jerry.
It's been
So
2
that's
years
going to
since the
become an
last Deadpool
episode
I've
next
had plenty of
season,
prep time.
if next season does happen.
The land of Equestria, a magical kingdom
Anyway,
full of rolling
ponies.
plains, beautiful mountain
Ponies.
ranges, and rainbows. A place where you just can't help but be happy. unless you happen to live on a rock farm.
The hell's a rock farm? Like a quarry?
I
No,
I
they
am
literally farm
sad
rocks.
that
For these ponies,
Sans
rocks
versus the
were
Judge
their
didn't
life.
happen
They
because
harvested rocks, they
more than
sculpted rocks,
seeing
they
them
played
talk
with rocks,
about
they built their
Undertale,
homes from
I
rocks.
wanted to see
They
them
even
talk about
ate
Off.
rocks.
That
Well,
would have
one
been
pony on this farm
amazing.
wasn't quite as rock crazy as the rest of her family. Oh no, she's a whole nother level of crazy. This is Pinkamena Diane Pie. Just call her Pinkie Pie.
One day, chipping away in the grueling rock fields as always, Pinkie witnessed something that would change her life forever.
Colors!
The very sight of this unprecedented explosion of color, which originated from Rainbow Dash's first legendary Sonic Rainboom, instantly brought Pinkie the most joy she had ever felt in her life. Brimming with happiness, she wanted to share
That's
her
fair.
newfound jubilation with her grim-faced family.
So she stayed up all night organizing a surprise party. It was so off the chain that it made them all
True.
smile for the first time, which was actually quite horrifying.
That's when Pinkie finally realized that her life's mission was meant to bring joy to all.
Wait, what's that thing on her butt?
Oh, that's a cutie mark. Every pony gets one when they discover their calling in life.
Oh, I got one of those. After I found out alcohol and guns were my calling, I woke up and found a beer bottle crossed with 2 shotguns on my left butt cheek.
Boomstick, that's a tattoo. You don't remember it because you passed out drunk in the parlor chair.
But booze and weapons do define my life, don't they?
Well, sure, but...
Then it's fate. Anyway, now that she had something better to do than farm rocks for
Batter
a living,
versus Kara?
Pinkie left home and ended up in
Maybe.
Pokeville. She landed a job in bed at the Sugar Cube Corner Bakery and set off to befriend
I can't think
every
of
single pony in town, usually with a
a
welcoming
better
song
one
and
at
dance.
the moment.
Welcome, 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 a fine welcome to you. Welcome, 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 Death Battle. How do you do?
Wait, what the? How does it know, Wiz?
I guess now's as good a time as any to mention that Pinkie Pie also sees past the fourth wall.
Sorry, did I interrupt you guys?
No, we were just trying to do a show, but yeah, by all means, tell them about yourself while I go grab a beer.
Well,
Horse.
I can sing, I can dance, I throw the bestest parties, I can...
Oh, no. The awesome stuff. Give them something lethal.
Oh yeah, this was
What? I never hurt anyone. Well, unless it's an evil shape-shifting changeling. That's why I never leave home without my party cannon. Usually
Oh
this
yeah,
means we
Weird
set up
Al
the entire party
is
in
a
single
canon
shot.
part of the My Little
When
Pony
things get tough, I
universe.
use it to smother my enemies in bubble of
And also they
chaos.
showed footage of
It's my own
them's
recipe.
fighting herds
Wanna try some
before
Welcome cupcakes?
it
They're
became
fresh
a
and sticky.
brand-free fighting game.
Okay. Also, I think one time my party cannon blew up half a building, but that totally wasn't my fault.
Well, Pinkie Pie's party cannon is child's play compared to her own abilities. Her body seems to have highly elastic properties, allowing her to stretch impossible distances, inflate like a balloon, or more practically, shake off hits powerful enough to send her through walls.
Bathtubs are dangerous.
On top of all that, her mane can morph into a drill and tunnel through the earth. She's fast enough to keep up with Rainbow Dash, and she can control the very laws of physics.
So, do we walk back up the slide or what?
Even if you think you've got the upper hand on her, she's got her own pinky sense that lets her predict oncoming threats.
The twitching means my pinky sense is telling me that stuff's gonna start falling. Sometimes it's a bunch of random things happening in my body at random times
Yeah.
that supposedly predict the future. I call them combos.
Her pinky
I mean,
sense is so precise, she can expertly
there-
maneuver through
like,
a collapsing
there's a reason
skyscraper
why
under construction while
the
saving
Gen
4
4
other
My Little
ponies.
Pony
Pinky
became
sense? How
like
about nonsense?
sort of this
None of this is
phenomenon
scientifically possible.
that gained such a big cult following.
Even if you can't figure them out.
No, I can't do that. Deciphering the impossible is literally what we do here.
The hell's with all these
Yeah,
ponies?
it's
They all
not a
like this?
it's not a bad
Why?
show.
Oh, this madness goes even further. Even if you were to somehow damage Pinkie Pie's body, she can just reassemble herself on the spot. And no one can escape her, not even Rainbow Dash. You know, the pony who can fly over 3,800 miles per hour.
Yes, we should all be thankful that she uses these powers for good. With the help of her friends, Pinkie saved the world several times, like when her group went up against a glowy horse powerful enough to move the moon.
Pinkie's spastic demeanor might make her seem like a hapless child, but she's actually pretty smart. She knows the names, birthdays, preferences, and locations of every single citizen of Ponyville by memory. She's so meticulous she plans things out decades in advance from her secret party planning Batcave. She also frequently alters her own personal gravity without having to affect the world around her. By inexplicably changing physics like this, Pinkie Pie is theoretically capable of well, just about anything.
Okay, for a baby pink pony, this filly is actually kind of scary. Only way it could get any worse is if there were a whole army of Pinkie Pies.
Funny you should say that.
No. No, no, no!
I can always use the mirror pool. My Nana Pinky taught me how to use it to duplicate myself over and over and over and over and over.
Pony! No more. Just go back to Ponyville. You'll be getting a new visitor soon, very soon. Like right now soon.
Really? Oh my gosh, I can't wait!
Well, good thing she's
It is
easily
also cool how they
distracted.
put, like,
Maybe
her
some weird
sprite into
ultra-powerful
that
cartoon
clip.
being, but she's
And
anything
did it
but funny.
very, very
What's
well.
more, she can be emotionally fragile at times. If her mood turns negative, she loses her will to do the one thing she loves most, spreading happiness to every pony she meets.
And like it or not, Pinkie will spread happiness to you, no matter how hard you struggle.
Isn't this exciting? Are you excited? Because I'm excited. I've never been so excited. Well, except for the time that went, but I mean...
All right, the
Yeah, no,
combatants
it's-
are set. Let's end this debate
it's
once
wacky.
and for all.
It's time for a death battle!
Oh, dude. Oh, hello again, Death Battle. So, who's the lucky victim? You cannot be serious right now.
Hi there, I'm Pinkie Pie. I've never seen you before. Are
Yeah.
you new? You must
Her
be new.
mouth is a bit...
Welcome!
Yeah.
No, none of that. Shame on you.
I'm gonna welcome you one way or another!
I'm gonna turn you into glue.
Yeah, this one's...
Gotcha.
This episode's a bit goofy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Oh, what the? Heck. Like Ryan Reynolds senpai once said, maximum effort!
He stole the like bar.
This? We're going viral! Wait, whoa! You see those things too?
Yeah, I mean, usually they're kind of annoying, but...
Say no more, tiny pink horse. On the count of 3, say what your favorite food is. 1, 2, 3, chonga! The heck's a cherry chonga.
Only the most delicious, most awesomest thing you've ever tasted? Damn!
It's wonderful.
Does this mean we're friends now?
Best friends?
Wanna have some fun?
Oh, mercilessly.
And now this starts happening.
Oh, dance off!
Yeah, let's move it! Like that! Yeah! I was gonna play that one!
Come on, I found the jackpot.
Yeah.
Look.
Hi, Rainbow Dash!
No, not that one. That one. Those are the guys responsible.
No, it's
for
okay.
sticking us in
He
these battles in the
Terry
first
wins
place.
the actual
You mean
episode.
with some boomstick?
Oh no, I'm talking even more meta. I think it's time we had some real fun.
That was the last time I ever made a walk.
You! I finally found you. The idiot with the stupid face, the idiot with the stupid hair, and the idiot who writes my jokes because he thinks he's funnier than me.
Well, I mean, I did write that one, so... It's me.
I just got one question for you all. Just one. Why, oh why, would you pull me into another one of these battles on my birthday? Come on.
Wait a minute! You didn't tell me it was your birthday!
What the f-
That part's cute.
Well, so much for the death in death battle now, right?
Like, it's not...
Where's the carnage? What a cop-out.
I can't.
It's
This isn't
not
how it's
the
supposed
most
to be.
I mean,
satisfying
when you think about it.
way to
Were you
end.
the one who said breaking the rules would careen out of control?
But
or
it's
whatever?
Don't ask me,
it's
this
cute.
wasn't my call.
So, who wins? Who loses?
Boomstick, I think the loser is us.
Fucking pony.
Hey guys, I'm Chad. I'll play Boomstick. I'm back.
Yeah,
with
that's
Liz, and thanks from the
that is season 3 of Death Battle. So let's take a quick trip over to our handy dandy tier list, and let's rank the episodes we have yet to rank. What do we have here? Come on. Tracer versus Scout was okay. I think honestly I'd put it like there-ish. Ken versus Terry I really liked. That one's going ahead of Flash versus Quicksilver. Amy versus Ramona was also fun. I think that one's going there. Hulk versus Doomsday. People really like this one. I really like it as well. I'd probably put it... How high do I want to put it, though? Because there is a lot to like about it. Probably... somewhere in here. Fuck. Screw it. I'm going to go with my gut. It goes there. That's where I'm putting it. Zorro versus Urza is also very good. I'm putting it ahead of Meta versus Carolina. And Deadpool versus Pinkie Pie is... It's cute, but it's also not really a fight. I think this one's going to go just above Amy versus Ramona. Season 2 is the biggest season. It's 32 episodes, which is double their typical amount. Like, we've only done 3 seasons, and we're already, like... I think we are about halfway through at this point. Or, not quite. Almost, though. Like, they had gotten to 50 episodes, like, midway through season 2. It's ridiculous. But this is our ranking thus far of each and all the episodes, ordered by season, of course. So yeah, to answer your question, there is Deadpool versus Deathstroke in the top 4 of season 2, as I think most people would agree it rightfully should be. Season 1 is mostly not great, but there are some bangers in there. Tifa versus... I mean... It's good, but I do have problems with it. And also, Season 2's just got a lot of good episodes. You probably are right. I'll move it to just below Samus versus Boba Fett remastered. I'm not putting it any higher. That fight's got... It has baggage, I will say. It's not bad. Like, for context, I think the only bad episodes in Season 2 are, like, these bottom 3. It does have Dolphin Blow in it, which is... I'm glad they put that in there. But, man, Season 2 just has so many bangers. Like, pretty much these top 2 rows of season 2 are like, mwah, chef's kiss, like excelente episodes. All right, what time is it? Okay, I think we have time for like 1 or 2 more. So why don't we jump into season 4? What are we gonna have time for? Yeah, let's do.
This episode of Death Battle is brought to you
So
by
this
Go90,
is
the free digital
season
entertainment
4,
service featuring TV shows,
when
original
they
series,
started
esports,
having,
contests,
they
live sports,
really got
and
into their
behind-the-scenes
style
access to some of
here.
your TV shows.
I don't care about this ad. And they changed up their imagery a bit. It's less of the red and more of like a weird purple.
Sometimes an archaeologist needs a bit more than a shovel and brush.
And this is
especially
also
when
the
they're on
first
hunt for the most
of their
legendary of treasure.
modern
Yeah, if it were
season
that easy,
schedule
everyone would
that
be
they
doing
do,
it. The best
which
treasure
is
hunters are the
16
ones
episodes
with the
per
brawn
season,
to match their brain.
which is what they've
Like
done
Lara
for
Croft, the Tomb Raider.
almost every season
And
since
Nathan
then.
Drake, seeker of the Uncharted. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job
Yeah,
to analyze their
kind
weapons,
of.
armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
It's just supposed to be more
Most
like,
people spend their
look more
entire
like,
lives in
I don't
pursuit of
know,
wealth, status, and
iconic,
power. But Lara
not
Croft was
iconic,
lucky enough to be born
like
into them.
vibrant,
However,
I
despite
guess.
attending the best schools and living
Unless
in her own mansion,
kind of generic,
she was missing one
like
crucial
Fight
thing,
Club-y.
adventure.
And now it
Yeah,
looks
rich
like it's
people are
the
always
Suicide
looking for some
Squad.
Crazy way to help keep themselves entertained. But if you have a lot of money and you take a lot of trips, it's good odds that one of those trips is bound to go
But yeah,
horribly
Lara
wrong.
Croft versus Nathan
And
Drake.
guess
This
what?
is a
It did.
matchup.
Before she was even old enough to order a drink, a crash
Two
landing
very
left her
iconic
stranded in
characters from
desolation.
very
She
similar
had to learn for
series.
herself how to
Makes
adapt
sense.
and survive for over a week before returning to civilization as a whole new lady.
In whatever Tomb Raider timeline you're looking at, whether it's on an island or the Himalayas, Lara's destined to this life-changing fate.
I'm never getting on a plane with her.
Surprisingly, Lara's experience
She's got that
left her
Joseph
far
Joestar
from
look.
traumatized. Instead, she
Every
was
plane she's on
inspired,
crashes.
hooked by the thrill of perilous adventure. So she struck out on her own, seeking lost treasure across the globe to make a name for herself.
But Lara's no fool.
Oh, the
So
Tomb
first
Raider
she made
collection?
sure
Yeah,
she'd be
I've
ready
heard
for
real good
anything.
things about it.
She tracked down the best teachers she could find to learn her the ways of stealth,
That's one of those-
survival, and martial arts.
Yeah, that's
She
one of those
became
series I've
proficient
always
in
heard
numerous
about,
types of
but I've never,
firearms,
like,
and her martial arts
heard
choice
about in
appears very
detail,
reminiscent to
if that
kickboxing.
makes sense.
She can even fight while
Like, I
blindfolded.
know Tomb
So
Raider, of
she's
course, because
basically
Tomb
Batman,
Raider
who
and
treasure
Lara
hunts
Croft are,
with guns.
like, gaming
Speaking of which, Lara is
icons.
famous for her trademark dual
But I've never
heckler
heard
and
much
cut
about,
pistols.
like,
And I'm not talking about the things under her
how
sweater,
the
but
game
she's also
plays.
skilled with shotguns, assault rifles, submachine guns, even grenades.
Also, Lara Croft
and
has
she
boobs.
uses
Did
them
you
to
know?
take down
She's a girl and
everything
has
from armed
boobs.
thugs to T-Rexes.
Lara is also skilled with a competition compound bow, perfect for stealth kills.
And she's got enough trick arrows to make Green Arrow proud.
Oh, yeah.
She's got fire
There's
arrows,
several
poison
movies,
arrows,
I think,
explosive
starring
tipped arrows, and even rope
Angelina
arrows for
Jolie,
crossing gaps
I
or
believe.
grappling things. And while her
And I've
climbing
heard they're
axe is
not good.
supposed to be used for scaling up cliffs, you can imagine what the thing does to a human skull. Oh wait, you don't have to. Watch.
Ow.
Lovely.
Gruesome murder aside, Lara's extensive training paid off in big ways. She's discovered the legendary blade Excalibur, the Philosopher's Stone, the Ark of the Covenant, Thor's hammer Mjolnir, and even Bigfoot, whom she also promptly killed.
Suck it, Sasquatch. She survived dinosaurs, the Kraken, a Chinese dragon, and she even found the long-lost Led Zeppelin song Stairway to Heaven.
What? No, she found a literal stairway to
What?
heaven.
Really? Holy shit!
She
For a
met
132
God?
woman, she's surprisingly strong. She's held up a heavy gate for 36 straight seconds while drowning. She also regularly pushes around enormous boulders, like the giant blocks in the Pyramid of Giza. This makes her easily strong enough to, say, punch a man through a wooden beam.
Lara's also a crack shot. She can precisely tag multiple targets in less than a second, even if they're button-sized bolts or kunai flying through the air.
Damn.
She's skilled enough to infiltrate and escape Area 51. She's
Area
tenacious enough to take a
51?
bullet in the heat of battle
Alien?
and keep fighting. And she's tough enough to dive off a 250-foot cliff into water with no injury whatsoever.
Yeah, you can. There's a bit of a.
documented dive ever recorded is
There's
193
definitely a
feet.
shift in
But
the
unlike
writing
Lara,
style
this
at this
driver
point
underwent
as
weeks
well.
of preparation and
Notice the
still
episode's
broke his
also a
collarbone.
bit longer.
Hell, this girl can survive
This is
almost
where
anything.
episodes start.
When she was younger, she got
Oh, yeah,
impaled by a
ooh.
rusty metal spike and was still
This is where they
able to
start
complete an
averaging about
entire
20
adventure
minutes per
while in
episode.
constant pain.
She wasn't even able to properly treat it. She had to cauterize it with a burning arrow tip.
Damn, that's hardcore. I think I found my next ex-wife. And then there was that one time she threw her climbing axe at a helicopter and it just exploded.
Yeah, the only logical explanation being she threw the axe into the chopper's air intake, shredded its internals, which caused a spark that reached its gas tank.
She made the helicopter explode with nothing but an axe. That girl's got one hell of an arm.
I think we can all agree Lara is a badass, but she thinks so too, and can get a bit reckless.
If she gets too full of
Friggin'
it,
idiot.
she can always find herself at the wrong end of a tree branch, crushed by boulders, mauled by wolves, shot in the head, stabbed through the face, all sorts of horrific fatal mistakes.
Even knowing that, the risk doesn't keep her from any of her bewildering adventures.
Don't you think you've seen enough?
Yeah. Modern Tomb Raider is
Sic
very
Parvis
brutal.
Magna. To most people, these words hold little meaning, but for globe-trotting explorer Nathan Drake, it's his life motto. Greatness from small beginnings.
And beginnings don't get much smaller than his. Little Nate spent half his childhood in a boys' home, where he was raised by nuns, picked on by bullies, and pretty much just hated on for every second of his life.
Nathan found solace in his fascination with history, particularly the explorer who found El Dorado, Sir Francis Drake. And like his idol, Nathan dreamed of one day escaping the orphanage to go on treasure hunts
Uncharted,
of his own.
however,
And he did,
in comparison
with
to
his
Tomb
big
Raider,
brother
I do
Sam.
know things
The
about these
treasure?
games.
Their dead mom's old journals
They're supposed to be
about Mr.
very
Drake
good.
Himself. Turns out they were in some old lady's house, so they broke in, she called the cops, and then immediately died of a heart attack.
Obviously not wanting to be caught trespassing and standing over a dead woman when the police arrived, Nathan began a life on the run.
Talk about shitty luck. Man, all he wanted was a book.
Fortunately, Nathan seemed born for the treasure hunter's life. He's exceptionally athletic, has encyclopedic historical knowledge, and can find a way out of almost any bad situation with his quick wit.
He'd make sure that everyone would remember the name Nathan Drake.
After several solo adventures, Nathan eventually teamed up with Victor Sullivan, a former Navy officer turned expert con artist. Sully taught Nathan the ways of combat, both with his fists and with firearms.
Good thing, too, because it seems like everybody out there wants to take a shot at Nate. He almost always has a 45
Strafing
Defender or
Nate.
9mm pistol on hand, as well as a couple grenades. Nate can rack up the body count with just about any weapon he touches, including machine guns, shotguns, grenade launchers, and sniper rifles. Hey, when there's a literal army of bad guys out to kill you, you gotta become a one-man army yourself.
Ready for anything, Nathan set out to follow in his idol's footsteps, and then some. He's discovered 5 lost civilizations, stopped multiple world-ending threats, and even unlocked the secret of El Dorado like Sir Francis Drake before him.
Yeah, turns out it's not a city of gold, just a dead guy that turns people into zombies. Didn't see that one coming. Anyway, Nate wouldn't have done any of
Mr.
those
Video
things if he
Game
weren't
Man versus
physically fit for
Mrs.
the
Video
job.
Game Woman.
He's strong enough to
So
move
true.
boulders twice his size and hold up a 4-ton gate for 4 seconds. He can climb huge cliffs with nothing but his fingertips and constantly jumps humongous gaps
Look, they didn't
without
have
needing a running
PS
start.
Vita recording
The standing
software, so
broad
they had to
jump world
film
record
that
is
the
12 feet
old-fashioned
3
way.
inches. In this instance, Nathan Drake was able to make a 19-foot
Look
jump
at
from a
that.
standstill. 19 feet!
It's very
and he's
charming.
always clearing similar jumps throughout his adventures.
Nate's got hops, but he's also got an iron hide. The dude is constantly falling dozens of feet and just shaking it off. Like that time he did a 40-foot belly flop and got right back up like it was nothing. That could kill a normal guy.
Nathan Drake is nothing if not determined. When he found himself cornered on a train and bleeding out from a bullet wound, his solution was to simply blow the whole thing to oblivion.
What a convenient pile of propane tanks.
But of course, he survived the crash and even climbed to safety, despite having no way of knowing he'd get out of this whole mess alive at all.
On top of all that, look what he's wearing. It's freezing up there.
Actually, explosions generally seem to be his exit of choice, like when he blew up a cargo plane while flying over Saudi Arabia.
After surviving the trip to the ground, he wandered the desert for 2 straight days with 0 food or water.
Oh my God.
But even with all that, when he found a bunch of mercenaries who wanted to kill him, he was still able to fight them off. How is this guy real? What kind of deal did he make with Satan? Because he should know that that stuff comes with a terrible price. Believe me.
All of this just proves how careless and haphazard Nathan really is. This man rarely, if ever, has a plan for anything at any point. Nearly every moment of his life, whether he's in or out of danger, Nathan's philosophy insists that he simply roll with whatever punches come his way.
Nathan Drake's a cool guy. I haven't played any of his games, but from what I know, he's a cool
also
guy.
his incredible knack for improvising and adapting. Lucky or not, hundreds, if not thousands of bad guys have tried to beat him to some treasure and lost. It's good odds that if you go up against Nathan Drake, you're not just gonna lose that treasure, you're gonna lose your life.
What the hell did you do back there?
Oh, you know, save the world.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and
Yeah,
for
they
all.
include the subway ad. The Uncharted subway ad. Everyone's...
Valentine is the flower. Assorted.com if you want to go the extra medium vase and chocolate for an
I
additional
forgot they had the weird
$9.99.
sloth
So
puppet
head to
mascot for a while.
proflowers.com. But right now,
Anyway, fight.
Damn, it's cold up here. Okay, let's try... Gotcha.
Stop! Turn around. Slowly.
Ah, crap. Hey there. I'm guessing the whole finders keepers rule isn't gonna apply.
Cut the chit-chat. The Grail's coming with me. Either walk away or die right here. Choose wisely.
Okay, Missy. First rule
Yeah.
about me. I don't walk away.
So these models look a little strange. And apparently this episode was on a bit of a time crunch, so it's a bit off.
It never fails. I get to the gold at the end of the rainbow and somebody tries to kill me.
But I'll cut it some slack because they don't really deal with, like, realistic looking people that much.
Not a scratch.
Do you know what you've done?
Laura, you're the one who shot it off the
That's
pedestal.
probably not good.
What do you mean, what has he done?
Okay, that's definitely not good.
This is a really, like, neat setup for a fight, though, where they're both trying to, like, escape with the treasure. How did she get out of that pit that fast?
Sorry, have to do what I have to do.
You don't have to kill him, Laura. Also,
crap.
Also, you could have just, like, stabbed him with the arrow instead of trying to draw your bow. Then he might get a stand. So true.
Not a scratch.
Yeah, they referenced the thing from the analysis where the climbing axe just
Laura and
explodes
Nathan
the
have both displayed
helicopter.
Impressive feats of strength, durability, agility, and weapon skills, but Laura tended to have the edge in every category.
Both of them were way stronger than you'd think. Nathan shoved a boulder large enough to weigh 20 tons. That means he literally had the strength of 10 men.
But in Laura's case, she moved several limestone blocks used in the Great Pyramids. Not only did she move them much farther distances than Nathan, but given their size and makeup, these blocks should weigh over 27 tons each.
Laura's way tougher too, and has been
Yeah,
through
this
things
was a
that
pretty good
definitely
one.
would have
I know
taken
some
Nate
people are
out.
kind of
Like when she was
dissatisfied by the
impaled
ending,
rebar, but was still able to
where
accomplish everything necessary to survive a hostile
Nathan
island for a
didn't really
week.
get killed
Nathan
by
suffered a bullet wound in the
Laura.
same area
He
of
just
the
kind
body.
of
And while he powered through the pain for a short time,
happened
he
to
soon passed out
die
and was
because
unconscious
his
while
luck
under
ran
intensive
out.
care for 3 days.
From what I
Take my word
understand,
for
luck
it. I've been through
is
pretty
a
much everything you
mechanic
could
in
think of,
Uncharted,
and I'd
kind
rather
of.
take a bullet than rebar any day.
So-
And that rebar thing happened when Lara was pretty young. Later, she got all sorts of combat and survival training from experts. Well, Nate was mostly self-taught.
Yeah,
with a few
this one's
pointers
alright.
Every so often from a con man. Also, when the pressure's really on, Lara manages to always keep
Yeah,
a
the
cool
breakdown's
head.
good.
Much better than Nate.
So, you got a plan C?
Yeah, floor it. I'm getting on that train.
What are you, crazy?
Nathan Drake did just about everything by the seat of his pants, and eventually, luck always runs out.
Yeah, she was just too crafty for him.
The winner is Lara Croft.
All right.
Next time on Death Battle.
Yeah, wait, let's see the next time.
Life is like a hurricane in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes.
So yeah, I think next is Scrooge McDuck, but I think we're gonna save that for next time because it is kind of late, and I have been streaming for a while, so yeah, I think that's gonna be streamed for the day. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been doing a good job of like hiding the matchups, but yeah, we'll continue this next week sometime, hopefully. Not sure exactly what day. But yeah, we got through season 3. A lot of people dropped in. I think most of them left by now, but hey, it was a fun time. Thank you for coming down. I hope you have a good rest of your night, and everybody take care. See ya.